You know what people complain about most? Is that death never really seems to happen. Why are people so upset with death? A story do not need to have death. Heroes do not need to die! Because this is not the real world. But even I sometimes feel like some things do need to happen, which is a tragic death, only because I do not care about these characters. It's a completely different lack of empathy in this situation. And I feel like their stories are over, so let just be over. But I do not want heroes to die. Villains can go to hell, they can die. But the heroes do not. Yes, I am talking about the One Piece chapter that I'm for very strange reason reviewing. Me, the angry and offended despair viewer, is reviewing chapter 10,030. A chapter that is actually... I just don't know what the hell I just read kind of chapter. First of all, Apu is actually now discussing together with Drake, we finally see him again, of having an alliance. He knows he's a naval spy. Ugh, please, 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 please do not let Drake team up with that low bit too good piece of filth scum Apu. Show that Drake is not just some heartless marine. Show he has a sense of honor. And something like that. The fact that Apu can guess he's a marine spy is actually kind of impressive. And I don't even know how Apu is alive. And no, I'm not talking about all the damage he sustained or the fact that he managed to get away. We're also introduced to, what is this? Is these the final numbers? Inbi, Sfuga, and Sankey. I do not exactly know their numbers. It seems to imply that the one looks more fully dressed and has a way strange mustache. One is extremely fat and has a bad beard and blushy cheeks, while another one is fat and has the longest horns of them all. It seems to imply we do not get a name tag. Well, we get the name tags. We don't exactly hear who is who, but we can identify them through their laughs. The one who's laughing with Ibibibi is probably Inbi, and that is the big, dastardly villain-like mustache number. The one that laughs with Sakikiki is very likely Sanki, and that is the one with the very bad beard and the blushy cheeks. Well, of course, the last one, the portly one with the big hair, is obviously then Fuga. Again, we just need to listen to their laughs to identify them. But the thing is, though, which numbers are these? Because I'm pretty sure Imbi is the number one number. And Saki looks almost like it's the Japanese word for sun, which means that that should be the third number. But Fuga, Ichi, ni, san, yon, fo. I'm not exactly knowing what that number is. Either though Apu says that he wants to team up with Drake. Of course, Drake still doesn't trust him, but Apu is basically saying we should all proclaim the glory once, in case anyone is losing here. I mean, he's not wrong, taking all the opportunities. After all, that's just what the scum CP0 is doing. But I just hope that Drake has some kind of honor and does not do it. And here comes the biggest complaint that people are saying. Somehow they actually see the walking legs part that is actually Kinemon. Yes, the seam leg part that's when Law cut him many arcs ago. And in order to, since he cannot hear them, he writes they write the crest of it all on his legs in order to identify it. And he can communicate with his farts. So, well, the fourth one identifies that what is happening, that Kiko is on the brink of death, and he is as well. So they need to go and save them, or Kiko more importantly. It seems to imply, though, that despite being cut in half by Kaido, the real reason why Kinemon is alive is that apparently his body wasn't completely retached all those arcs ago. Granted, the one that retached him was not Law. So yeah, I guess I'll just have to go with that feeling. But unfortunately, Kanjuro is also alive, although he does admit he is in the final curtain. And then it begins to sprout all kinds of bad nonsense, like the theory of it all, as Orochi contacts Kanjuro and begins to say all that blah 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 bad stuff, go to hell kind of things, and then so in his final dance, the glorious death of the Kurosumi clan, are we to assume that Kanjuro died after that? He creates a flame demon, a Kansenbo, that will likely engulf the entire armory that Onigashima has, and well, Momonosuke tries to create clouds as small as it can. The castle is now gonna be up in flames. The CP0 are finally moving out. I hate that! And, well, we see some other guys still fighting. Of course, Orochi is just proclaiming that there's a huge army here, and that they need to escape, and he needs to escape with Fukurosha. You cannot allow that snake to survive. Well, you can allow him to survive, but do not let him be the ultimate winner of this. Capture him or some kind of crap. Of course, Yamamoto, meanwhile, is just heading to the basement and hope that Yamamoto can make it in time. But then Yamamoto sees the eco-souvenir, as we actually switch back to the second thing that I have a problem with. If you argue with me, this is the thing I have the biggest amount of problem with. And it's a reveal, though, that apparently Law and Kid, for some very strange reasons. I mean, I can get Law, but Kid, oh, come on. He does not deserve to be this powerful. Anyway, it seems to imply that their powers are actually awakened. Okay. And we get no explanation for that again. Oda, what happened to you? Why do you keep letting us guess? Just give us a straight answer already. I do not like to keep guessing. I can deal with fake deaths because, again, I don't want heroes to die. But I am getting tired of not having answers. So, but if you ask me, this seems to imply that only those that are the closest to deaths can awaken their powers. Granted, since Don Flamingo was almost lynched as a child, granted this was before he ate his devil fruit, then yeah, I guess it makes sense. The thing what we do learn here is apparently the use of awakening is not so easy. Although given how Don Flamingo used it, it was surprisingly easy. One is another reason why I think Don Flamingo was too overpowered for his own good. And that seems to imply that using it is extremely stamina consumption. And Kid says it's the same. So either way, it seems we do not get... But the thing is, I thought Paramecia's awakening could affect the area similar to how Logia do. But the Ope Ope no Mi seems a little bit stranger. By coating the ability into a chrome, a special room, Law can actually pierce the body of the Big Mom even without damaging her, and then creating a shockwave from within which actually damage her, as we see for the very first time, except of the time she, of course, bruised her knee, we actually see Big Mom bleeding. It seems to imply that the effect of the awakening when it comes to the Ope Ope no Mi can affect the body as much as it can before, just more advanced. Basically, does nothing on its own, instead creates shockwaves from within. I mean, granted, he could always shockwave them, but I guess he couldn't shockwave them from within. I guess that is also affecting it all. And when it comes to Kitto, he can just turn the person into a magnet. So in a way, I guess their powers can affect the person, not the environment. So he basically turns Big Mom into a magnet and crushes her with a huge man-to-metal clash. But as we all know, that is probably not enough to KO Big Mom. So yeah, not really a good chapter. Not too many villains are having the last laughs. An awakening power that is not explained. Granted, they have survived death battles, so I guess that must be the reason. But why did they awaken before Luffy? That is not fair. And now, but this is basically the final confirmation. Yes, Luffy is going to awaken his fruit. I will be extremely upset if this arc ends and he is not the one who has awakened his devil fruit. He will awaken it and he will be unstoppable. He will defeat Kaido with that. But Oichi has guessed that this knocks out Big Mom. That cannot be the case. And I'm not saying that because he's a Yonko, but only because these two shouldn't be that powerful. But maybe this will at least put her on ice for a little bit. Nah, I highly doubt that. After all, it's Big Mom. So yeah, that's basically it. And oh yeah, Kinemon, Kiku, and Kanjuro are for now alive. All these fake out deaths makes me upset. Granted, I read a spoiler of another manga, and that does seem to confirm another death, which makes me just even more upset. But you get to that another day. So yeah, basically the chapter. I don't really care for Kiku, Kinemon, and least of all Kanjuro. They could have died for all I care. But Kinemon and Kiku are heroes, so if they survive, that's perfectly fine. But Orochi cannot be allowed to get away. He cannot be allowed to become a Karma Houdini. It's fine if he survives, because if you think about it, him surviving, getting locked up, and losing everything is a fate worse than death. It's actually the same for Kanjuro. I actually didn't want Kanjuro to die, not because I liked him as a villain, but only because making him live is even harsher than allowing him to die, because he wants to die. Denying him death is actually an even crueler fate if you think about it. Still, why Kinemon and Kiku are alive, I have no idea. Granted, Kinemon said that, but that's basically the chapter, so give me your thoughts if you have any.